Hello and welcome to the class. My name's Paddy. Today we're going to talk about passive forms. So by the end of this class, you will have a better understanding of when we use passive, why we use passive, and how we use passive. If you have any questions after this class, remember you can click on the Ask Your Teacher button at the top of your web page. When you click on this button, you will be able to send us a message with any questions that you have. Also, during this class, there will be some questions for you to answer. You can find these questions below the video. I will tell you when to answer the questions, and I will give you some time to do so. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to show you some sentences. I would like you to read the sentence and decide who, or maybe what, did the action. Who or what did the action in this sentence? Number one, my mother cooked the potatoes in a pot. So the action is cooked, but who or what did it? Look at the first question below this video, and can you choose the person who did this action? Was it me, my mother, the potatoes, or we don't know? Choose the correct option. The correct answer was my mother. The verb is cooked, and my mother is the person who did this action. This sentence is active. The subject, which is at the beginning, is the person or thing which does the verb. There is an object, which is potatoes, but the potatoes is not doing the action, it is receiving the action. Number two, the cake was decorated with chocolate and oranges. Who did this action, decorated? Was it me, my mother, the cake, or we don't know? Look at the next question below this video and choose the correct option. The correct answer is we don't know. This sentence does not tell us who decorated the cake. Maybe we don't care who decorated the cake. Maybe we don't know who decorated the cake. It's not important to this sentence. Who did it? The important thing is that it was done with chocolate and oranges. So sentence number one is active and sentence number two is passive. In most English sentences, the subject is the person or thing who does the verb. For example, Susanna lives in London. Susanna is the subject, lives is the verb. We bought a new kitchen table. We are the subject and bought is the past simple verb. Aeroplanes carry people between countries. All of these sentences are inactive because the subject is the thing or person that does the verb. However, sometimes the person or thing who does the verb is not important to the sentence. We don't care, or maybe we don't know, or maybe it's so obvious we don't need to say. Let's take an example. If somebody asks you, where are these tomatoes from? Where are these tomatoes from? Now, you could say, a farmer produces these tomatoes in Spain. That's a little bit strange because you don't know this farmer. Maybe it's not a farmer. Maybe it's a machine. It's unknown. And to be honest, it's not important because they're asking about tomatoes. How old is this castle? Some builders built this castle 500 years ago. Again, who are these builders? Why are we talking about the builders? Maybe it was not builders. I don't know. And the important thing is the castle, not the builders. What happened to the criminal who stole your car? The police arrested the criminal yesterday morning. Well, the verb is arrest, and Only the police can arrest somebody usually, so I don't need to say the police arrested the criminal. These sentences are in active, but they should not be. They should be in passive. Let's see. We're going to use passive forms so we don't have to say who or what does the verb. Instead, we focus on the object, the tomatoes, the castle, the criminal. Where are these tomatoes from? These tomatoes are produced in Spain. Notice how I've removed the farmer because I don't care about the farmer. A, how old is this castle? This castle was built 500 years ago. I've removed the builders who built it because I'm not interested in them and I don't know who they are. What happened to the criminal who stole your car? The criminal was arrested yesterday morning. I've removed the police because it's obvious. I don't need to say police because they are the only people who arrest. Now, these sentences are in passive and they sound more correct. Let's look at some more examples and think about whether they should be in passive or active. I'm going to show you these sentences and I'd like you to decide which of them should be in passive. At the moment, they are all in active, but I think two of them would sound better in passive. Which two? Look at the next question below this video and choose the two sentences that would sound better in passive. The correct answer is B and C. My wife was promoted at work yesterday. Who promoted her? Well, it was her boss, but I don't want to talk about my wife's boss. I want to talk about my wife. C, the painting was stolen from the art gallery. Now, originally I said some criminals stole the painting, but if they stole it, I don't need to say some criminals. That doesn't give you any extra information. Of course, it was some criminals who stole it from an art gallery. And I don't know their identity, so I don't need to make them the subject. A, I have two sisters and a brother. Well, I am talking about my family, so it makes sense to begin the sentence with I. This is active and it's correct. Also, generally, we don't use the verb have in passive very often. D, my friends are relaxing on the beach. It is impossible to put this sentence into passive because there is no object. My friends are relaxing something? No, my friends are relaxing. That's it. There's no object, so this cannot go in passive. So, how do we form the passive? Well, if we take an active sentence, we can change it into passive if the sentence has an object. First, we need to remove the subject because we're not interested in the subject. A farmer produces these tomatoes in Spain. I'm not interested in the farmer. Let's remove it. Then we take the object of the verb and move it to the subject position. The object here is these tomatoes. So I'm going to put that at the beginning of the sentence. Next, I'm going to take the verb be and put it into the correct form. Produces is present simple. So the verb be is going to be am, is, or are. These tomatoes am? No. These tomatoes is? No. These tomatoes are. Okay, lovely. These tomatoes are. Then I'm going to use the past participle form of the original verb after the verb be. What is the original verb? It's produce. What's the past participle form of produce? Well, luckily this is a regular verb, so produced. These tomatoes are produced in Spain. Let's look at another example. Some criminals stole the painting from the art gallery. Again, I'm going to remove the subject of the sentence and move the object to the beginning, the painting. Then I'm going to take the verb to be in the correct form. Well, this time it's past simple, stole. So we have to use was or were. The painting were? No, the painting was. And the past participle of the verb steal is not stole, it's stolen. This is an irregular verb. The painting was stolen from the art gallery. One more example. This time, it's in negative. The customer didn't pay Elena for her work. Well, even if it's negative, we still follow the same process. We remove the subject and we move the object to the beginning of the sentence. The object here is Elena. Now, we take the verb be and put it into the correct form. What is the correct form? Well, it's negative and it's past simple. So it's going to be was not or were not. Elena was not. Then we use the past participle form of the original verb, which is pay. The past participle is paid. Elena was not paid, or as a contraction, Elena wasn't paid for her work. We also have question forms. To form passive questions, the object actually goes between the verb be and the past participle. Let's look at this example. When did a human invent the telephone? That's a very strange question. I think it should be in passive. So instead, we take the verb be and the past participle. So be, a human invent the telephone. Well, it's going to be was, isn't it? Was, past simple. And the past participle is going to be invented. So when was invented? And the object, the telephone, goes between the auxiliary verb be and invented there. When was the telephone invented? So let's practice this with 3 examples. I have written 3 sentences, A, B, C. These are all in active. You are going to change them into the passive form. Look at the next question below this video, and can you write the correct passive form of sentence A? The correct answer will probably be 5 words long. Write your answer now. The correct answer is Parmesan is made in Italy. Make is an irregular verb, so the past participle is made. B. Look at the next question below this video, and can you write the correct passive form of this sentence? The correct answer will probably be about 6 words long. Write your answer now. The correct answer is the president was killed in 1964. Finally, look at sentence C in the next question below this video, and can you write the correct passive form of this sentence? The correct answer will probably be 6 words long. Write your answer now. The correct answer is we were taught Spanish at school. Some of you might have written Spanish was taught to us at school. That is also a correct passive sentence because this verb, teach, has 2 objects, teach Spanish and teach us. So there's 2 different passive forms. I think this one is the most logical, though. Well done if you got those correct. Let's look at some common mistakes to finish off. I'm going to show you some sentences. I would like you to choose the correct sentences. Of these 6, 2 are correct. Can you choose the 2 correct sentences? Look at the next question below this video and choose the 2 correct options. The correct answer was A and E. Both of those are correct. I was born in Qatar in 1989. Surprisingly, this is passive. Some of you maybe didn't know that this is passive. It comes from the verb bear. But we don't say, my mother bore me in 1989. That's very strange. We just say, I was born. We don't say, by my mother, because that's obvious. E, the bones of this dinosaur were found in Argentina. Absolutely correct. It's past simple. We're using were because the subject is the bones, which is plural. Found is the past participle of the verb find. B, this watch was gave to me by my father. The mistake is gave. That's past simple. We need past participle, which is given. C, this smartphone is manufacturing in China. At the moment, this sentence is present continuous, which is incorrect. We want passive. Passive is the verb be plus past participle, which is not ing. It's, in this case, ed, is manufactured in China. D, the weather is changed every day in England. Who changes the weather? It's difficult to answer that question. If I use passive here, it's like somebody or something is changing the weather. We don't want passive, we want active. The weather changes. The verb change can be used in active, it can be used in passive. It depends on whether it's happening by itself or whether someone is doing it. In this case, it happens by itself. We just use active. F, when were built the pyramids? It's an incorrect word order. It should be when were the pyramids built? That is the end of the class. Remember, if you have any questions, you can click on that chat icon at the top of your webpage and send us any messages with your questions. Thank you for watching.